Oh, it's over. Nancy Sidley's verdict. After another disastrous weekend, proving that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are on edge, with even their enemies at the Daily Mail reporting on new strains in the marriage. So yes, Harry and Meghan stepped out separately in New York, going their separate ways. Harry went one way, Meghan went the other way. I mean, it was not a huge surprise, given the barely simmering tension being able to keep under the surface at the Humanitarian of the Year Awards. I still laugh at that on Friday night. So here was Meghan, solo dining. Ready? And yet, as Royally Sage pointed out, he never leaves. He never leaves because he wants her to attack his family, even though looks could kill, as the royal grift also beautifully pointed out. And look, there were so many issues that even came through after the event on Friday night, when remember both of these two would have been desperate to be on their best behavior and try to show a united front. Watch.
My husband's going to get this one out. He just got me. How's everybody doing today? Brenda's turns to one of the most urgent questions facing families today. What's happening to childhood? And how and what do we do to allow our children to just be children?
And of course, the one man who never leaves her side is Marcus Anderson. As Brittany of the Royal News Network pointed out, I'm sure Harry will say one day that there were three of them in their marriage: Harry, Meghan, and Marcus Anderson. Why Marcus is always there is super weird. Does Meghan always need her best friend there for moral support? It's just a bit bizarre. And we're going to come to these new Daily Mail bombshell claims in just one moment. But first, let me bring in the aforementioned Brittany, editor of the Royal News Network. I mean, Brittany, this New York trip has just been a disaster if this was a couple intending to prove to the world that they were united, because they look anything but.
They definitely do, Dan. Harry and Meghan are just on completely separate ends of various issues. And it was just hard to ignore some of the tension, some of the mask dropping, and how they really didn't interact with each other very much in some ways. And of course, this was to put on a united front, show their relationship was on a high or whatever. But I always feel like we get anything but. And the descent happened last year, or at least it started last year. And I think it's continuing to go. And Meghan doing her own thing and Harry doing his own thing. Well, I mean, couples do that. But for two people who used to call themselves salt and pepper and had to do everything together, once you stop doing that, people are going to begin to talk.
Oh, yes, they are. And they are now talking, Brittany, with the Daily Mail reporting what that solo Paris trip says about Harry and Meghan's marriage, after she once said she couldn't go to the French capital because of H's mom. Now, Brittany, you know I like to give a lot of context when I'm talking about this mainstream media reporting, but actually this is particularly interesting because it is a very in-depth piece from the chief show business correspondent for the Daily Mail, Alison Boshoff, who has proven over the years she has lots of sources in Team Montecito. And it's really interesting that the Mail is going here because, you know, for a number of months, they have been trying to curry favor ahead of this court case with Prince Harry in January. But it was just too big to ignore, I think, what happened in Paris. So let me take you through some of this reporting, Brittany, and we'll analyze as we go. But it really is interesting stuff. Not necessarily anything that I haven't been reporting for some time, but it's the fact it's in the Daily Mail. So Alison Boshoff writes, more disquietingly, though, sources close to the Duke and Duchess have indicated to me that Meghan's choice of the French capital for her latest relaunch has caused them deep concern. Certainly their appearance on Thursday night in New York when they were named Humanitarians of the Year at the Project Healthy Minds Gala will not have helped. They arrived hand in hand with Meghan in a Armani power suit, but although the former actress shot a number of soupy glances in her husband's direction,
Clearly, the tension between Harry and Meghan isn't just about Paris or New York. It's a pattern that's been building for months, if not years. Every public appearance, every award, every media stunt seems to expose cracks that no amount of PR can smooth over. And let's be honest, the way they operate now, it's almost performative. You see, Meghan thrives on the spectacle, on the attention, on the flashing cameras. Harry, meanwhile, seems trapped in a loop of obligation and resentment. When you watch them together, it's like watching two very different worlds collide. One wants control, attention, the applause. The other wants quiet, privacy, and yet he's constantly dragged back into the limelight because of her ambitions. And it's not just a minor annoyance. This is fundamental to how they operate as a couple. The Humanitarians of the Year award may sound prestigious, but to them it's another stage, another photo op, another chance to validate their choices in front of the world. And that's where the real tension lies. It's not simply that Meghan chose Paris for her media hit, ignoring Harry's history and feelings. It's that every action seems calculated, designed to elevate her brand, sometimes at the expense of the marriage. Even when they try to appear united, there's a disconnect. She smiles for the cameras, he grimaces at the edges. She poses, he stiffens. You can see it in the smallest gestures, the body language that says more than words ever could. It's fascinating, really, because you can't fake that kind of tension. You can try, you can stage moments to convince the public, but there's a rawness beneath it that leaks through. Every glance, every pause, every half-hearted touch, it all tells a story of two people moving in different directions, and yet unable to step away. And let's not forget Marcus Anderson, always there. It's not just about moral support. There's something deeper at play. A reliance, a dynamic that complicates the couple's public image even further. And yes, this isn't a new story. Anyone following their appearances over the past year can see the pattern. Meghan pushes, Harry resists. She seeks validation from the world. He craves authenticity and privacy. And these conflicting desires? They're a recipe for ongoing conflict. You see, when the cameras are off, the cracks widen. When they think no one is watching, the frustration, the distance, the unspoken disagreements become more apparent, and that's why even the most carefully orchestrated appearances still reveal underlying tension. But beyond the personal, there's the professional side of things too. Meghan's projects, her ventures, the Paris media push, it's all intertwined with the marriage dynamic. Success and failure here don't just impact her, they ripple into their shared life, into Harry's public role, into how the world perceives them both. And failure has consequences, especially when it hits the public eye. That's why some of these Paris and New York moments are so revealing. They aren't just missteps, they're indicators of broader challenges in both their personal and professional lives. So as we look at these appearances, these carefully framed videos and photos, it's hard to ignore the emotional echoes. Harry isn't just reacting to media attention. He's reacting to history, to memory, to grief that's intertwined with every significant place, every public stage. Paris is more than a city. It's a trigger, a reminder, and seeing Meghan move so freely there, with cameras rolling, is a kind of emotional landmine. And his reactions? They tell you more than any press release ever could. Meanwhile, Meghan continues to push forward. She's crafting an image, building a network, pursuing ambitions that are unapologetically hers. But the cost? Every move she makes in the public eye seems to widen the gap between them. Each new video, each media appearance, each high-profile event becomes another litmus test for their dynamic. Can they coexist as partners under this constant scrutiny? The answer isn't clear, but the signs are obvious. Even small gestures, a fleeting smile, a handshake, a glance, take on outsized meaning. And the public sees it, interprets it, and reacts. That's part of why coverage from outlets like the Daily Mail resonates. The optics can't be ignored. People notice the distance, the tension, the subtle body language. And that's exactly why these moments keep making headlines. They're windows into a relationship under pressure, magnified by fame and expectation. And when it comes to the Parents Network or other charitable efforts, it's a similar story. What should be about altruism becomes entangled with image, with control, with managing perception. Every appearance, every message, every event is scrutinized, and any misstep, real or perceived, is amplified. Harry and Meghan may aim to use these initiatives to position themselves positively, but it's impossible to escape the broader narrative that's forming two people, very different goals, trying to navigate a world that constantly measures them. In the end, it's not just about Paris, not just about New York, not just about media stunts. It's about fundamentally different priorities, approaches, and reactions. Meghan pursues visibility and influence. Harry pursues stability and meaning. And as long as these priorities clash, tension is inevitable. Every public appearance will carry this subtext. Every handshake will carry weight. Every smile will be read for signs of discord. It's a dynamic that has no easy solution, and the public, whether intentionally or not, is witness to its unfolding.